Hey everybody, it's Dan. Bringing you my kind of Dota tutorial video that I've been talking about. So, this is, I'm going to kind of do this off the cuff, but this is going to be very basic information for people who don't really play. This is not going to be advanced technique at all. So, I've got it paused just so I can kind of show. So, this is the map. There's one map in Dota 2. The ultimate goal is to destroy the opponent's ancient, which is this big thing. And along the way, there are three lanes. You've got the top lane up here, the middle lane, and the bottom lane. Every 30 seconds, creeps will spawn from your barracks, which are at each lane. And they will just run down the lane until they run into some sort of enemy, some sort of thing blocking them. They'll just run forward. If they run into enemies, they'll start attacking. And that's pretty much it. Also along the lanes are towers, and they do a ton of damage. So to get to the ancient, which is all the way back along their lane, you have to destroy all these towers. Along the way, there's a river in the middle. There's a jungle on each side, and some other little stuff. There's a secret shop on each side as well. And then there's Roshan's pit, which we'll talk about later, I'm sure. So I'm gonna start. I'm playing Dragon Knight here. Dragon Knight's kind of a basic character, I would say, especially for something like this. Just trying to not do anything too complicated while I show you guys how to play. Here's my dude. I'm playing with bots here, obviously. One other thing, up here at the top, you've got this thing on the right. You can see what kind of bonus material people have, different announcers, and HUDs. Like here's the basic HUD and my HUD. There's some other stuff that you might not use. Combat log. Here's the scoreboard. And then this thing, guides. If you're new to this game, if you're playing a hero you never played before, I would recommend just come in here, pick one of the top rated ones. It's not going to be a great build, but it's going to be better than just pretending, just trying to figure out what to do with no knowledge at all. And once you've played this game a lot, played heroes a few times, you'll figure out what you like to do, what the best items to buy. But for now, just use these. You're not going to catch too much heat using one of these. You'll be doing at least halfway right. But they will tell you the items to buy and kind of in what order, and it'll tell you what ability you should get at each level. So I've made one for Dragon Knight. I'm sure it's not a perfect build. I don't play them a ton, but it's just what I like to do. So I'm going to go up top with Dazzle. Ideally, in a game, I should say, ideally you'd have one carry. And just to go back, there's a few types of characters. You got carries. Dragon Knight's a carry. A carry is a character who is not necessarily so strong at the beginning of the game, but if they get all the kills, if they get all the gold and buy items, at the end of the game they'll be pretty much unstoppable. You should have ideally one carry in a game. You can have kind of other characters like who are listed as carries, but you don't play them that way. But really, ideally, you should have one character who's getting all the farm. The farm being the gold and the kills and the experience. On top of that, you have supports. Dazzle's a support. Their role on a basic level is to help you not die if you're the carry in the beginning of the game. They want to buy the courier, who's a very useful item. And later on, they want to do stuff like buy wards, pull creeps, and stuff like that. But that really doesn't need to be talked about right now. So those are the two basic types of characters. There's junglers, there's gankers and roamers and that kind of stuff. But really, for a very basic understanding of the game, carries supports. Okay, so Dragon Knights is a carry. So if you do have two carries, you definitely don't want two carries on a lane together, because then you're just competing for the experience, the gold. So a good support should be letting their carry get all the kills, all the last hits. So what I'm doing here is called creep blocking, which you'll see. I shouldn't have paused. We got like 40 seconds left. But the creeps are going to spawn when the game starts, and they're going to run up the lane. Now they're going to meet in a certain spot, just mathematically. But on this lane, the top when you're over here, and the bottom when you're on the top team, the Dire, you're going to be really close to their tower, which is not where you want to be. So what you can do is kind of stand in front of the creeps and block them, which slows them down. So if you do it really well, you can keep your creeps from going all the way up to the enemy's tower and kind of bring them closer back to yours, which you want to do. So let's see how well I do here. I'm not the world's greatest creep blocker, but I'm doing okay. Ah, shit. So I lost them there. So that's not going to be great, but maybe my support here will help. Yeah, a little, not really. But we slowed him down a little. One of the other things that annoys me is I think people don't really understand the role of creep blocking. You don't just want to creep block all the time. If you're on the safe lane, which is the bottom when you're Radiant and the top when you're on Dire, but basically means the lane where you're next to your own jungle and you haven't gone past this river, that's the safe lane. So this is our safe lane. I'm up here on the hard lane, and my enemies are on their safe lane. But when you're on your safe lane, you don't really want to creep block, at least in public matches, because what you're going to do is pull your creeps further back towards your tower, which is just going to cause your tower to kill the creeps, make it harder for you to get the last hits, and you're going to get a double wave of creeps just based on the way the math works. You're going to kill theirs so quick that you're going to have a double wave of creeps pushing really far, and in about a minute, you're going to end up right next to their tower. So now they have two safe lanes. Not what you want. Obviously, there's more nuance in pro matches where everybody's creep blocking and really good at it, but this isn't that. So that was bad. On lane, you want to get last hits if you're a carry. You don't want to attack for any other reason. And then you can get the last hit on your own creeps, which is called a deny. And that's primarily the job of the support. So the carry should be getting last hits, the support is getting denies. And the support should also be harassing the enemy heroes, just kind of hitting them wherever you can. And you'll notice, I'm not just going up and attacking these creeps. I go up, I get the last hit, I don't hit for any other reason. And the reason you don't want to do that, and almost everyone does in low-level matches, is that any hit that you make to the enemy creeps is going to push them slightly closer to their own tower. And you don't want that. You want it the opposite. You want it closer to your tower until you're ready to destroy a tower. And then obviously you push and destroy it. But unless you're trying to take that tower, you don't really want to be next to it, because they're safe here, they have the support of their tower, they have the jungle here, and you don't know what's going to come out of there. Any of their heroes could be hiding in there. Somebody could come along the river and kill me. So this is really not where you want to be. And that's why it's called the hard lane. So this is the laning phase of the game. You just try not to get killed. If you get a chance to kill an enemy hero, that's fine. Do it. But that's not your primary goal. Your primary goal, especially as a carry, is to get those last hits, get the items that you want, and just primarily not die. More importantly than killing is don't die. Ah. mean, you don't need to rush. I mean, a lot of the time you see people start and they just rush up and they're attacking the creeps and they're running across the creep line and attacking the enemy hero. It's just settle down. You can get the kills later. There's no point in being like that at this point in the game. So see, they're coming towards our tower, and that's fine. I'm gonna let it happen. I want that. You want that. You want to be next to your tower. They shouldn't be doing it. But if they're gonna do it, that's fine. Just I guess a quick word about items. Um, the Quelling Blade is kind of an all-purpose item. It makes you do more damage to creeps. It makes it easier to last hit, which is why a lot of people buy it. Um, that's the main reason. Tangos you always want for the most part. They let you eat a tree, gain back a certain amount of health. Salves give you 400 health, so if you're really down, that's what you want. But they're a little more expensive. Branches, you can build them into a few things. They're really cheap. They give you +1 to all stats. They're, just fill up your inventory with them. Boots, brown boots for the most part should be the first item most heroes get. They give you 50 movement speed. You want it. You're going to end up with some boots at some point in the game. So, shit. Yeah, and so the thing about denying, like I just did there, when you hit your own creep, you're keeping them, you're killing the creep, so they don't get any experience, because you get experience for every creep that dies. And they don't get any gold, because you stop them from getting the last hit. The other concept about experience is you get experience for just being nearby, for the most part, but you split the experience that comes out of killing a creep. So if there's 2 heroes, you're going to get half the experience. If you're the only hero, you're going to get it all. If there's 3 of you, you're splitting it 3 ways. And that's important with some of the more advanced techniques that I may talk about in later videos or later in this one. We'll see. Okay. I'm going to buy a Soul Ring next. Soul Ring basically lets you turn HP into mana. It's good for certain heroes, not so much for others. But again, you don't have to worry about that. I mean, at first, just use those guides, and they'll tell you what to buy. Until you start to get an idea. And see, you'll see these light up yellow every time I level up. And it tells me what ability to get. And you'll notice I haven't even been using any of my abilities until just now. So I got a kill there. He came too far across the line, and I killed him for it. And that's just solid Dota right there. And you'll see I have very little mana left. So that's why I get the Soul Ring on him. I can regenerate that health, but that mana comes back a lot slower. So, just do a little trade. And notice, even now, I'm not attacking these creeps because I'm not trying to push. So why would I? I'm just trying to get more money. Okay, so at level 6, you can get your final ability, which is called the ultimate, often called the ult, just, shorthand. It's a safe move to get that ability at level 6 for pretty much anybody. It may not be ideal, but rarely, if ever, is one of your teammates going to say, why'd you get your ultimate at level 6? What the hell are you doing? So, if you don't know what to do, get the ultimate at 6. It's fine. And you can get the next two levels at 11 and 16. So this guy's, I turn into a dragon, which is different for each one. The first level, is a green dragon who does poison damage. And he moves faster, he can shoot his attacks farther. So, pretty cool ability, I think. I'm waiting for about 950 gold here to upgrade my boots. And then I'll probably try to do something aside from just, getting gold. Okay. Oh, yeah, I should mention, this is the side shop. You can buy kind of random stuff here, but at the very least, you could always just go there, buy your item, see if it buys or not. If not, then it's back at the base in the regular shop, and you can just have the courier bring it to you by clicking this button down here in the bottom right. That'll always cause the courier to bring you your items. Okay, so I got treads, tread boots. I really like treads. I mean, you can upgrade your boots into one of like 4 different kinds of advanced boots. I mean, if I didn't know what to get, I would go with treads on anybody. But that being said, it's definitely not ideal for everybody. But treads give you +8 to all stats, or I'm sorry, +8 to one stat, and you can pick which one by clicking on it. And it makes you a little faster. I really like it. But there's other boots that give you health, one that gives you mana, one that lets you walk through shit. But again, that's just experience, and follow those guides at first. So I turned into a dragon there, killed that guy. Yeah, so just to go over these real quick. My Q attack, breathe fire, pretty simple. W is a stun, and a little bit of damage, but primarily a stun attack. And now there's 3 of them up here, so I gotta be a little more careful. Even though I'm stronger than most of them, probably. Not much. But, caution. So I'll stay as a dragon for a while. And eventually you'll just come back. Oh, and then this is a passive, gives me extra health regeneration, extra armor. Again, another reason why Soul Ring is a good item on this guy, because I can regen health really quickly, but not mana. Alright, so now I'm probably going to be a little more cavalier with my attacks. Just kind of push. Yeah, anytime you're just attacking creeps like this, you can say that you're pushing. But you still want to try and get those last hits. So, if you see somebody else is about to die, kind of reposition cancel your attack. Make sure you get that last hit, like I didn't do just then. And you just want to, this part of the game, you're just going to kind of keep doing this. Bang up against the tower for a while. Get out of there before the tower starts attacking you. And then attack the tower again. I built up a good amount of gold. Generally speaking, you don't want to keep a ton of gold around if you don't have to. You want to put it into items, because when you die, you lose gold. But if you don't have any gold, you can't lose it. So, ideally, you would spend as much of your gold as you can at any given time. So that beginning part of the game where everybody is on one lane, you're not attacking the creeps, you're just getting those last hits, that's called the laning phase. That'll just kind of, there's no official phases in the game, but it'll just kind of break down at a certain point, and you'll notice that people aren't staying in their lanes, they're running around, they're trying to take towers down, they're running around trying to kill people, and that's just when you know that the laning phase is over. So that means don't just stay in your lane. I mean, I know I am here to an extent, but that's, it's a little harder to do this when you're trying to explain. But also there's not a ton going on, and I'm playing against bots. Oh, oh, oh! They're gonna kill me. Jeez. Okay, see. So there was 3 of them up here. They took me out. Such is life. But we've taken their middle tower, was right here. They haven't taken any of ours. But, one other concept, and you gotta wait to respawn. One other concept, when someone comes from their lane, especially in the beginning of the game, like the middle guy comes top, so that it's 3-on-2 up there, that's called a gank. Just FYI. So these are stat items. This one gives me 24 damage. This one gives me more attack speed. But more importantly, I can build them into this Maelstrom, which is kind of the core of my Dragon Knight build. Okay, so I can finish my Maelstrom, and I'll have the courier bring that to me, and I'll show you what that does. Tower's chewing on me a little bit. Just gonna keep attacking this tower. So down, if you see on the map, on the bottom lane, they've taken out all their towers. They're going right up to the base there. So, this is going well for us. I guess one other basic thing I didn't say. There's 5 players on a team. The general rule, again, advanced concepts do not follow the rules. But the basic layout is 2 heroes on top lane, 1 hero on mid lane, and 2 heroes on bottom lane. So whoever's in the middle is by themselves. That's just kind of generally how it's played. You can mix it up if you feel like it, but if you don't really know what you're doing, it probably won't go well. There's a reason we do it that way. So I've got my Maelstrom. This is a good item on most kind of like melee carries like this, and it'll, every couple hits, let's see if we can get it to go. It'll give you one of them there, a little shock. Just a fun little effect. It does damage. Also gives you more damage overall, more attack speed. Just great item. You can upgrade it into Mjolnir, which if you see, it gives you a lot more attack speed. The chains, the shocks do a little more damage, but not a ton. It's mainly for the attack speed, but there's nothing wrong with some attack speed. So I'm about to level my dragon up again. The red dragon does a splash damage. Nothing wrong with that. Gotta get out of there. And our team is just destroying them. I don't know. I don't know why that is. You know, just how it is. Tower's hit me. So we're beating them up. Normally, it would not be a good idea to just run away in the middle of a fight, unless you're going to die, but I'm going to show you guys something. Here's the secret shop. You can walk to it, you can take the courier and send him there, and then buy shit with him, or you can just go yourself. Oh, double damage rune. Let's see if it's still there. Yeah, the other thing, here and down here, runes will pop up every now and then. Double damage, invisibility, health regeneration, all that kind of stuff. Definitely want to seek those out. So I'm going to come here and buy the Hyperstone, which is the main reason why the Mjolnir gives you so much attack speed. Really, this just buying this last 600 gold worth is what gets you a little bit more damage on those chain lightnings. But I mean, if you got the gold, I just don't think that's important necessarily. The main component is that attack speed. The Hyperstone alone will get you that. You'll see here, this is a ward. It's been put here. Wards give you vision, and that's a very critical part of the game that is almost never done in low-level matches. And that's okay. I mean, I don't think necessarily a new player needs to worry about, you know, oh, I'm not warding. I mean, no one's going to be warding. So, I don't think it's that big a deal personally, but some people lose their shit about it. But basically, it's very important. You put a ward here, you can see the rune, so if a double damage pops up there, you can take a look. And also, especially in the early game, if someone's running along here, you'll see him coming. So if the middle guy is coming, thinks he's going to come gank you, you can see him coming when you're up here next to their jungle in an unsafe place. You can see him coming and run back to your tower so that he can't just come behind and kill you. And that's just fundamentals. So you can see him attacking pretty fast. And I mean, my team is just destroying them without my help, which is okay. It gives me more time to talk. But I barely got to use my abilities in this match, I must say. Oh, we finally lost the tower. So I was a little bit reckless, going like 5-on-1 there. That was just dumb, and I wouldn't have done that in a real match, but it just doesn't matter. So this is Drow Rager here. She's running around in the jungle, which is called jungling. Anyone can jungle at the end of the match. There's all this free experience sitting here. There's these neutral creeps that just sit in these camps. So, I mean, ideally you go in there and get a little bit of farm, but don't just be farming in there when there's team fights happening, letting your teammates die. Um, on top of that, there's some heroes who are junglers who can go into the jungle at the beginning of the match and do very well. And what's so good about that is that, excuse me. What's so good about that is that if you're in the jungle, you're not in the lane you were gonna be. So you have another person who has a solo lane. You have the guy in the middle who's good by himself, and you have the guy probably in the safe lane who's by himself too. So he's getting all that experience from there. The mid guy's getting all the experience from there. You're getting all the experience from the jungle. So if you're a good jungler, you'll have 3 heroes who are very high level, as opposed to just the one in the middle. And then you can keep an eye. You're here in the jungle by the safe lane. If he's in trouble, the guy that's by himself, you pop out, you help him out, you go back in the jungle. That's how it should be done. So I'm buying a Sange. Gives you a chance to attack to slow their movement speed for 4 seconds. So slow gives you a little more damage, a little more strength. You know, all good. So no real player would have done that for the most part. So now we're attacking their barracks, usually called the racks. When the racks go down in that lane, your creeps become stronger. So then you have mega creeps in that lane. From now on, the ones that spawn will be mega creeps. And that just makes it harder and harder for your team to come back from whatever deficit you've got. You know, certainly not impossible, but once you've lost all 3 of your sets of barracks, it becomes pretty much mathematically impossible to come back unless you also have taken a lot of their barracks. Because if you have all normal creeps and they have all evolved mega creeps, it takes just about your whole team's attention to just keep the creeps from coming in and just destroying your base, because they're very strong. So it takes just about your whole team just working to keep them from killing you, much less being able to push out and take any of their stuff. Just about impossible. So get out of there, getting attacked. So again, that was just dumb. I could have gone back. Alright, so 2 of my allies just said, doing Roche. Roshan is this big boy. He sits here, minding his own business in his little pit. But if you go fuck with him, he'll hit you back. If you manage to kill him, He carries the Aegis the Immortal, which lasts 6 minutes after you pick it up, and it just brings you back to life when you die. So it's a free death, and you come back to life where you were. You don't go all the way back to the base. Roshan is very difficult to kill one-on-one. Only a couple heroes can do him one-on-one. But if you take 2 or 3 heroes, you can pretty much do it. But you have to be careful. If you're playing against a good team, it's not hard to figure out where you are. You can't see into the pit, but it's really not difficult to figure out where you're hiding. If everybody's missing, it's like, well, where are they? Well, I don't know. There's not that many options. So don't do what a lot of don't do what a lot of public match players do. Is like say, all right, let's go to Roshan, and then all 5 of us will just run to Roshan and just fight him. And then what'll happen is the other team, all 5 of them, will come up, get you right in your behind, and you'll be dead. The appropriate way to do it is maybe 2 of you, 3 of you sneak in there, the other ones stay in the lane, or better, after a big team fight where 2 or 3 of their dudes die, then you can go 5-man to the Roshan, because they can't afford to try and attack you, because they're a couple men down, and the rest of them are probably running back to base to get healed anyway. So, and they're still fighting them down there. So I've got this double damage still. It's not going to do much for me because it's about to expire, but, it was fun while it lasted. So, I'm level 16, I can get the last level of this. So, it's a blue dragon now, does splash damage, does a frost attack that slows enemy units too. So, that's the best one. So with that stun that I put on her, 3.25 seconds, by the time she could even move, it was too late. She was dead. Not really any way to avoid that, just don't get hit with the stun in the first place. So we're about to take out their last set of barracks. So now it'll say we have mega creeps, which means we have them in every lane, which is a good feeling. You usually don't get this much gold, but I'm going to buy 2 of the components of Heart of Tarask, which is a good item for anybody, frankly. Gives well, game's over. But Heart gives you a lot more health, lets you regenerate health very quickly, and that's pretty much it. So that was a pretty basic game. Probably a little bit disorganized, apologize, but I hope you got something out of it, maybe just the basics, just some of my very, very basic advice of how to play Dota 2. I may do more of these videos in the future for some more advanced concepts or some other stuff I didn't talk about, but I'll definitely keep doing my games with some commentary as well. But hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, see you later.